Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to learn how to make this beautiful pair of pants. It's the Waffle Stitch Crochet Pants, and yeah, I've fallen in love with this stitch, and my projects can prove that, because we already have so many other projects that we've worked on using this particular stitch, and they're all awesome, they're all amazing, and you can find all the links to their tutorials and patterns in the description box below. So today we're going to work these pants, and if you'd like the written pattern, it's already available on all my online shops. This is a fitted pair of pants. It's kind of wide leg at the base, but basically when it comes to this area here, we have a fitted kind of design. We have increases on the hip section, as you can see here and in the image here, and it creates a really beautiful and intricate design when you look at it. So buckle up, because this is a yarn eater as well as a time-consuming project. It's not something that can be worked on very fast or quickly. It's not a quick project, I promise you that, but the end results are totally worth it. Within the video, you'll hear me say shorts or pants. Whatever it is, you can make it to any length to create either shorts or a pair of pants for yourself. So if you have your time, sit down and create the pants. But if you're in a hurry, you can also decide to make a pair of shorts out of this stitch. So let's jump right into the materials. Alright guys, now we're going to grab our yarn and hook, and we're going to start off with a slip knot. So twist over your yarn like this, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through, and then let go of the tail and pull it just like that. Now we're going to start off with a foundation double crochet round. So we're going to make a chain of 2, 1 and 2, and then we're going to start with our foundation double crochets. So yarn over, insert your hook into the very first chain that you did, yarn over, pull through. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. That's our very first foundation double crochet. So when we are counting stitches, we shall count this one as our very first stitch, not the chain. So that's 1, yarn over. You're going to go into, you see that braid at the base? You're going to yarn over and insert your hook into that braid, into both loops at the base of the stitch. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. That's our second foundation double crochet. Let's do that again. Yarn over, twist your work so that you see that braid, as you can see here. So insert your hook into that braid, into both loops of the braid, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So that's the repeat for the foundation double crochet round, and this will count as our very first round. So we're going to keep doing this until our piece grows to the length that we want it. So you're going to make sure as you keep growing, our intention is to have this length here to measure our waistline circumference. You should make sure that you consider a multiple of 3 for your foundation double crochet stitches. So let me keep building until I get the number of foundation double crochets that I need for my size, and I'll let you know how many that I did. So this is going to create a braid both at the top and at the bottom. And the best thing about this approach is it creates a stretchy sort of feel, and when worn, you can easily be able to pass through this piece through the hips, and it fits around the waist comfortably, as opposed to starting with a chain. So keep working, and I'll meet you back later on when my piece grows to a good length. All right, so I started off with 102 foundation double crochets, and you should be having an even multiple of 3. So if I divide 102 by 3, it is 34, which is an even number. So when I take a measurement across, I should get my waistline measurement without stretching. So the waistline measurement that I'm considering for this piece is 28 inches, as you can see here. I'm not stretching at all, and I have my 28 inches all the way across. So you should have an even multiple of 3, but you should also have your waistline circumference without stretching your work. Now you're going to make sure that your work is not twisted, and you're going to form a round and slip stitch into the very first, not this one. Remember, the first foundation double crochet is this one. On top there, you're going to make a slip stitch, just like that. And then you're going to get your darning needle and attach the bottom of this opening. Just grab your darning needle and thread it with the tail that you started your row with, and then you're going to pass it through this side like this, and then come back to this side just like that. And then at this point you can weave it in at the back. Just leave it there like that. So this has formed a complete round. This marks the end of round 1. And now for round 2, we're going to make a chain of 2, which doesn't count as a stitch. And you're going to go into that very stitch, into that very hole, and you're going to place 1 double crochet. And then for the next stitch, you're going to place a front post double crochet. This is round 2. Then 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and then front post double crochet into the next. 1 double crochet in the next stitch, 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and then front post double crochet into the next. So we're going to repeat that all the way around, and I'll meet you back towards the end of the round. Alright guys, we've come to the end of the round, and we've placed a front post double crochet in this stitch, and we have only 1 stitch left, and it will get 1 double crochet just like that. And then skip over the chain 2 because it doesn't count as a stitch, and then go on top of the first double crochet of the round and place a slip stitch. And this is the right side of our work. You're going to make a chain of 2 and turn your work, and from now on you should make sure that you're working in the opposite direction of the previous round. And then you're going to make 1 front post double crochet into the very first stitch, and then 1 double crochet into the next. Front post double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So 1 and 2, and then into the next stitch you're going to place a double crochet, then 1 front post in each of the next 2 stitches, and then 1 double crochet into the next. You should notice that the stitches that appear as if popped on the top of the row get front post double crochets, and then the ones that appear receding towards the back get 1 double crochet. So keep alternating between 2 front post double crochets and then 1 double crochet into the next stitch. That's going to create the waffle stitch on the right side of the work, but for now we are working on the wrong side, or the back side of the work. This is round 3. Because the foundation double crochet was counted as a round, so this becomes round 3 on the wrong side of the work. Alright, so we're almost coming to the end of the round, and we're placing our front post double crochet stitches into the next 2 stitches, and then 1 double crochet into the next, and we have only 1 stitch left, and it will receive a front post double crochet. That very last stitch there will receive a front post double crochet, and then skip over the chain of 2 and slip stitch into the top of the first front post double crochet of the round. You're going to make a chain of 2 and turn your work so that you're on the right side of the work. You're going to place your work like this, and you're going to get 2 stitch markers. Just get 2 stitch markers. I'll use the same color. So you're going to place your work like this so that the slip stitch is in the middle of your panel, as you can see here, just like that. And then you're going to mark the sides of your piece. You're going to just place it flat like this, and you're going to mark this stitch, the one that appears to be a front post double crochet, or you'll be seeing those lines. You're going to mark 1 on one side and then 1 on the other side. You're going to mark another one on the other side. I've been counting the stitches so that I can balance both sides, and yeah, this is what we have. I've marked this stitch. So at this point we are going to increase. We're going to be creating increases for the next round. So you make a chain of 2 and turn your work so that you're working in the opposite direction of the previous row. You're going to go into the very first stitch, which is this one, and you're going to place 1 double crochet, and then front post double crochet into the next stitch, 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and then 1 front post double crochet into the next, 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and then 1 front post double crochet. So that's the repeat for this until you get to the stitch marker. So the increases that we're going to create for this round are supposed to accommodate our hip circumference. Remember, when we were working the first round, we considered waistline circumference, and this is usually smaller than the hip circumference. So we're going to increase our panel so that it can accommodate the hips. So from here, you do your 2 double crochets, 2 normal double crochets into the next stitch, 1 in this one and 1 in this one, and then the one with the stitch marker, I'm going to show you what to do. You're going to remove your stitch marker from there, This is going to be our increase point. So you're going to go into that stitch with a front post double crochet, and then into the next stitch, which is this one. You're going to place Alright, so after your front post double crochet in this stitch, you're going to go into the stitch behind the front post. That stitch that got the front post, you're going to go into the top of that stitch with 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. And then you're going to go into the same exact stitch with the front post and place another front post double crochet, just like that. And then you're going to go into the next stitch, which is this one, and you're going to place 2 double crochets, and then go back into the stitch with the 2 front post double crochets, and you're going to place another front post double crochet there, just like that. So what we've created is this kind of fun stitch, and it has a total of 1, 2 and 3 front post double crochets. Now you're going to mark the middle front post double crochet. So you have this one and this one, so you mark the middle stitch, which is this one. And then from here you're going to double crochet 2 times into the next stitch, and then front post double crochet into the next stitch, just like that. And then you're going to go ahead and continue to work 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and then a front post double crochet. We've gone back to the original pattern until we get to our next stitch marker. So continue to do this until you get to this stitch marker here. Alright, so we're almost coming to the next stitch marker. So I'm placing 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. And then in this stitch, which is supposed to get the front post, you're going to remove your stitch marker, and you're going to place 1 front post double crochet in that stitch. And then on top of the stitch with the front post double crochet, which is this one, you're going to place 2 double crochets in there, 1 and 2, just like we did for this side. So from here you're going to place another front post double crochet where this front post is. So you're going to go back and place 1 front post double crochet, and then place 2 double crochets into the next stitch, which is this one, 1 and 2. And then you're going to go back into the same stitch with the 2 front post double crochets, and you're going to place a front post double crochet. So you have a total of 3 front post double crochets. You're going to mark the middle one, just like we did here, and then you're going to go into the next stitch with 2 double crochets, and then front post double crochet into the next. And then we are going to go back to the normal pattern of 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and then a front post double crochet into the next. So these increases are going to be located on the sides of the piece. So go ahead and finish up round 4, and then I'll show you what to do for round 5. So we've come to the end of round 4, and I'm going to place 1 double crochet in the very last stitch, and then slip stitch into the very first double crochet of the round, skipping the chain 2, which doesn't count as a stitch. So this marks the end of round 4. Round 5 is going to basically be round 3 without any increases. So you're going to make a chain of 2, which doesn't count as a stitch, and turn your work. And then you're going to start with a front post double crochet into the very first stitch, and then 1 double crochet into the next. And then start making 1 front post double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and then 1 double crochet into the next. 1 front post double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and then 1 double crochet into the next. That's the repeat for this round. Keep doing that until you get to your next stitch marker. So we are repeating round 3. So when you come towards this stitch marker, you're going to just continue working your pattern as usual. Sorry, 1 front post in each of the next 2 stitches, and then 1 double crochet into the next. Make sure you don't skip any stitch. 1 front post in each of the next 2 stitches, and then 1 double crochet into the next. And that's the stitch with the stitch marker. So you're going to place your double crochet there and move your stitch marker to the new row, and then continue with 1 front post in each of the next 2 stitches, and then 1 double crochet into the next. 1 front post in each of the next 2, and 1 double crochet into the next. So let's see what we have on this side. You can see we're still creating the waffle stitch, but we have increases here. And you can see the direction that our piece is taking. We're creating increases. So we're going to go all the way until we get to our next stitch marker, and we shall do the same exact thing that we've done here, continuing with our pattern and then moving the stitch marker onto the new row, and then we shall wind up our round. I'll show you how to do that later on. Alright guys, we've come to the end of round 5, and we are placing our last double crochet into, sorry, 1 double crochet here. We should end our round 5 with a front post double crochet, and we've placed it right now, and we're going to slip stitch on top of the first front post double crochet of the round, just like that. And now we are going on to round 6. Now we're going to keep repeating rows 2 to 5. So the next row is on the right side of the waffle stitch, but it's not going to create increases, just like round 2. And then we do round 3, which is not an increase round, and then round 4, which is an increase round. So for the next round, you're going to make a chain of 2, turn our work, and it's going to resemble row 2. Make use of the timestamps so that you can follow along easily, and you can see how our increases are creating room for the hip circumference. So we're going to keep repeating rounds 2 to 5 again and again until we get this measurement down here to slightly stretch to half our hip circumference. Once you get that measurement to stretch slightly to half our hip circumference, that means this space will fit you perfectly well. So my aim is to get to 20 inches when slightly stretched, but for now, when slightly stretched, we have a total of 16 inches. So we're going to keep working. So make use of the timestamps and repeat rounds 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 to 5 again and again until you have the base of your panel stretching slightly to half your hip circumference. Alright guys, after round 6, this is what you should have. And now we are going on to round 7. You're going to make a chain of 2, which doesn't count as a stitch. Turn your work, and then you're going to start off with a front post double crochet into the very first stitch, and then 1 double crochet into the next. Now the repeat for this round is 1 front post in each of the next 2 stitches, and then 1 double crochet into the next. 1 front post in each of the next 2 stitches, and then 1 double crochet into the next. So that's the repeat for that round. No increases at all. You just keep moving the stitch marker to the next round of the same exact stitch. So finish up round 7, and then we shall come on to round 8, which is supposed to create another increase. We shall increase again on round 8. So first finish up round 7, and I'll meet you back after round 7, and I'll show you what round 8 will look like. So we've come to the end of round 7, and for round 8 you're going to make a chain of 2, turn your work, and this is going to be our increase round. So you make your chain of 2 and turn your work, and you should be on the right side of your work. Then you're going to place 1 double crochet in the very first stitch, and then front post double crochet into the next. And now the repeat for this is 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and then a front post double crochet into the next. 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and a front post double crochet into the next. So keep doing that until you get to your stitch marker. So I hope you've been placing your stitch marker in the new rounds. So we're almost coming to the stitch marker, and I'm placing a front post in this one, and then 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and then we are at this stitch that's supposed to get a front post. So you remove your stitch marker and then place your front post double crochet into that stitch, and then behind the stitch where you've placed the front post, you're going to place 2 double crochets, and then front post double crochet into the same stitch with the previous front post double crochet, and then double crochet 2 times into the next stitch, and then front post double crochet into the stitch with the previous front post double crochet. So that has created 1, 2, and 3 front post double crochets into the same stitch, and then you're going to place your stitch marker into the middle one, just like that, and then you're going to place 2 double crochets into the next stitch, and then front post double crochet into the next. So what we've done here is creating another increase, just like we have here. You can see that division here of 3 stitches at the same point. So we've created another increase here, and then from here you're going to just continue to place 1 normal double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and then a front post double crochet into the next. 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and a front post into the next. So do that until you get to your next increase, and I'll show you just one more time what to do for the increases, the increase point, and then I'll leave you guys to keep working downwards, because at this point you should have understood the stitch. Alright, we are coming to our next stitch marker, and I had promised to show you how to increase one last time. So we are at that stitch with the stitch marker. You're going to remove it and place a front post double crochet into that stitch, and behind that front post double crochet into that stitch that received a front post, you're going to go in there with 2 double crochets, and then front post double crochet in the stitch with the previous front post double crochet, and then place 2 double crochets into the next stitch, a front post double crochet into the stitch with the previous 2 front post double crochets. So you go backwards and place another front post double crochet into the same stitch, and then you're going to place 2 double crochets into the next stitch, and then 1 front post double crochet into the next stitch. And then from here onwards, you're just going to work normally with our pattern, 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and then 1 front post double crochet into the next. Until the end of the round, and I'll meet you back after that. So we've come to the end of round 8, and I'm placing my last double crochet into the last stitch of round 8 and slip stitching on top of the first double crochet of the round. So from here you're going to make a chain of 2, round 9, make a chain of 2 and front post double crochet into the first stitch, and then 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and then front post double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches and 1 double crochet into the next. And that is the repeat for this round. No increases at all until the end of the round. So for this round you will end with a front post double crochet, and then you'll slip stitch on top of the first front post double crochet of the round, and then you will keep repeating rounds 2 to 5 until you get your measurement. So let me finish this round. We take our measurement and we see where we are at, and then we shall decide whether to keep increasing or not, depending on the measurement that we'll get after this round. Alright guys, I promised to take a measurement after round 9, and remember I told you you have to keep taking a measurement until when you slightly stretch your piece, you can get half of your hip circumference. So for now I'm at 17.5 inches. That means I'm not yet there. I'm going to keep repeating rounds 2 to 5 until I get that measurement. So we've just created another increase at round 8. I'm going to keep working, and then that means we create an increase every after 3 rounds. So after this one you have this row, this row, this row, and then you create an increase. Every after 3 rounds you create an increase on the sides here, just like you see here and at this point. So keep working rounds 2 to 5, and I'll be back to show you what mine will look like. So guys, I kept working until I got the base of my piece to measure half of my hip circumference, which was 20 inches, as you can see here, and it hit that measurement at around round 12, which was this point here. And then from there onwards I just started working plain rounds without increases at all until I got my 9 inches. Just follow the instructions until you get the number of inches that you have to have at this point. So as you can see, we have 9 inches when we measure downwards, and I ended on row 19, round 19. and that round is supposed to be on the wrong side. So I'll be recommending a number of rounds to do. So I'm going to finish up my round 19 by placing a slip stitch into the very first front post double crochet after skipping the chain 2 at the beginning of the round. So you're slip stitching into the first stitch of the previous round, and then you're going to get a stitch marker and mark the exact middle on the opposite side of the pants or the shorts. Now I have a total. You're going to count the number of stitches that you have all the way around, and mine is 138 stitches. So I'm going to divide it by 2, and that will be a total of 69, and I'll get the 69th stitch on the opposite side and place a stitch marker just like you see here, and that stitch should be somewhere around, you see those 2 stitches in between the 2 front posts. We shall consider this space here in between. So we're going to make a chain that's going to split the legs. So that chain should be a multiple of 3, and I've done a chain of 18, and I'm going to slip stitch into the space between the 2 double crochets. So we have the 2 front posts here, this one and this one, and then we have 2 double crochets here. I'll go in the space in between the 2 double crochets just like that, and then slip stitch, and that is the exact middle. So what we've done here is splitting the legs. So at this point you're going to look for a space in between the 2 double crochets that's closest to the stitch marker that you just placed on the opposite side. So after this, you no longer need the stitch marker, you can pull it out. And now we are going to take a direction that is in the opposite direction of the previous round. So I'm going to first work on this side. All right, so you're going to make your chain of 2, and now we are on the right side. So chain 2, and then into the first stitch, which is this one, you're going to place your double crochet, and then a front post double crochet into the next stitch, and then double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches, and front post double crochet into the next stitch, just like that. So we're going to repeat that until we come back to our chain. So 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and then a front post double crochet into the next until you get to the chain, and I'll show you what to do when you get there. All right, so we're coming to the chain, and you should have ended with a normal double crochet into that last stitch, and then you're going to go into the first chain with a double crochet, and then continue to double crochet once in each and every chain. So this should bring us to our original number of chains. You should have a total of 18 double crochets along the chain, or whatever number of chains that you did for the midsection. So I'm placing my last double crochet into the very last chain, and this is what your piece will look like. After this, you're going to skip over the chain 2 and go on top of the first double crochet of the round and place a slip stitch just like that, and then you're going to make a chain of 2 and turn your work so that you're working in the opposite direction of the previous round. We are still working on one side of the pants or shorts, so we're going to first finish up this side, and then we shall come to the opposite side. So after your chain of 2, you are going to go you're going to turn your work so that you're in the opposite direction of the previous round, and then go into the first stitch and place a front post double crochet, and then double crochet in the next stitch. Now from here onwards, you're going to make one front post in each of the next 2 stitches, and then 1 double crochet into the next. 1 front post in each of the next 2 stitches, and 1 double crochet into the next. Repeat that all the way across the middle section of the shorts or pants. Alright, so we're almost coming to the end of the middle extension, and we're still doing the same exact thing. So 1 front post in each of the next 2 stitches, and then 1 double crochet into the next. And you can see how the stitch has blended in until we are at this point where the stitches are more visible. So you're going to just continue with 1 front post in each of the next 2 and 1 double crochet into the next, all the way around until you come back to the beginning of the round. And this is what the right side will look like. And the waffle stitch has still started forming on the leg extensions, as you can see here. So as you continue working, you will get a more visible texture on the leg part of the shorts or pants. So I've come to the end of the round, and we're now placing a double crochet into the next stitch, and we should end with a front post double crochet into the last stitch, and then skip over the chain 2 here and slip stitch into the first front post double crochet of the round. So this is what our round 2 of the leg extension looks like. So we're going on to round 3. Now we've gone back to the original pattern. So you're going to keep repeating the round on the back side and the round on the right side of the work. So round 3, you start with a chain of 2 and turn your work so that you're working in the opposite direction of the previous round. And then you're going to go into the very first stitch with a double crochet, and then front post double crochet into the next stitch, and then 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, front post into the next, and keep doing this all the way around. So for this part, you're going to keep repeating rounds 2 and 3, 2 and 3 again and again until you have the length of the shorts that you want, or the pants if you decide to go longer. So we're coming to the end of round 3, and I'm placing a front post double crochet, and I should end with a double crochet into the last stitch, skip over the chain 2 and slip stitch into the very first double crochet of the round. So keep repeating rounds 2 and 3 until you get the pants, the length of the pants that you want for yourself. So they can be long up to the feet, it can be up to the knees. So whichever you prefer. I decided to take mine until the feet, and I'll be letting you know how many rounds that I did in the end. Alright guys, so for the actual pants, I ended up doing a total of 77 rounds right from the split of the legs. So where we got that chain in the middle, I ended up doing a total of 77 more rounds in order to get the length of the pants that I wanted for myself. This is going to take a while, it's a heavy project, but the end results are worth it. So 77 rounds. And before we go any further, I'm going to demonstrate how to attach on the opposite side so that we can work on our second leg. So let's first watch that, and then you keep pushing your pants all the way down until you get the length of the pants that you desire. So to work on the opposite side, you're going to make sure that you're in the opposite direction of the previous round. So you can see where the stitches are facing. We're going to attach our yarn here. Into that very first stitch after the chain, and I'm going to make a chain of 2, and into that same space I'm going to go in with the double crochet. Now from here you're going to continue to work a front post and then 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. 1 front post into the next, 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, and you're going to repeat that until you get to the middle section or the chain that we created in the middle of the pants. So we've come back to our chain, our middle split, and you should end with a double crochet into this stitch, just like that, and then you're going to place a double crochet into the very first chain on this side. So after your double crochet there, you're going to go into each and every chain with 1 double crochet, just like we did on the opposite side. So after your last double crochet into the last chain here, you're going to go into the first double crochet of the round and place a slip stitch. So you may get a space here, but I'll use a darning needle to close it up later on. And then from here you're going to make a chain of 2, which doesn't count as a stitch. Turn your work so that you're working in the opposite direction of the previous row. Let me just use my darning needle to attach this space together. Alright, chain 2, turn your work, and then into the very first stitch you're going to place a front post double crochet because we are on the wrong side. And for this round you front post double crochet and then 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and then 1 front post in each of the next 2 stitches, and then double crochet into the next. So you're going to repeat this all the way around. And then from now on, you know the flow of the pattern. You'll keep repeating rounds. The round on the right side and the round on the wrong side of your work until you get the length of the pants that you want. So after you get the length of the pants that you want for yourself, you're going to go ahead and weave in all your ends, and then you're going to turn your work onto the front side and make a long chain of about 200 chains, and you're going to thread it in and out of every 2 to 3 stitches. So let me say 3 stitches. So you just go in and out of 3 stitches of the topmost layer of the shorts or pants, and then you'll be able to gather your pants like this so that they don't create a big fitting around the waistline. This drawstring helps us to get an adjustable waistline opening, and so that our pants can fit perfectly well in the waistline. So that's basically it for today, guys. I know this has taken long, but the end results are worth it, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to check out the written pattern on all my online shops. All the links will be in the description box below. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.